What was the first haunt?
Deadlands.
Deadlands. And what was that like? Tell me, how many have you done so far?
6.
6. And that would, the first one again was the
2001.
2001. Deadlands. And then progressing.
Yeah, it moves on Howell Street. Yeah. I'll show you a real. I am so proud of this year because it has solely been on us.
Striking.
And I mean that. It's been on us. From the day we got the keys to this building. We have built this. We have performed in this. We have made this the Stanley Hotel.
I've walked 1,000 miles through the dark on this road that seems to have no end. The light will always try to reason and rationalize the events around us. The dark will always try to use the light's misconceptions to their own advantage. I accept what is and appreciate the reality and beauty, perfect imperfection. The light turns to shadow, and the shadow laughs at the weak and becomes sapience in light. What is a shadow without light? What is a dream but a dream of its own? Who controls a dream that's out of control?
I'm mad. When was the last time you saw your family? How long have you been? I don't remember. What about you? Years, I think. Hello. Do you want to play this game with me?
You volunteered for this treatment.
No, I don't remember anything.
This isn't real. Is this a hallucination? Do you feel like you are hallucinating?
what are you guys doing? Can we take some pictures?
I don't know what to say after that. Hold on, guys. I'm gonna have to. Should have written this shit down. I don't know. Why not?
Oh, good lord. Are you ready?
Yes.
Like dirty humans. So I'm just like, yes.
Oh, fuck that question.
And just to have a good time and to be with friends and enjoy myself.
Just a metaphor for the transmutation of the self. A little bit of everything. Okay, just give me a second. I want to restart that because I have no idea how to answer that question. Everything's blowing and moving, but really it's just a bunch of frantic people who've been up for days, swinging things around, trying to make air move, and it was surreal, but it was fun. And some things you can do by yourself, but like in certain situations like this, of course, you like this project specifically, you know, it took all of us, and it wouldn't have worked without all of us.
My name is Andrew Riddle. I'm 36. I've lived in Greenville my entire life. I guess I would consider myself a musician without a band. I work in retail, so when I got this opportunity, it was a surprise to me. Fortunately, I made contact with Nick and everyone. It was just something I felt like maybe that I wasn't experienced in doing, but I wanted the opportunity to do so, to kind of broaden that aspect of my life as far as art goes. Super friendly. I would say that I don't have any enemies, and I've never met a stranger.
I've always been interested in filmmaking since childhood. It's always what I've known I wanted to do, even if it wasn't paid. It's just what I'm passionate about. It seems like a central part of who I am. After I went to Carolina Film Institute, I've just been trying to find local artists who have projects, even if it's not for much money, just good promotion. And it's working with music is something I enjoy. I've worked with people of Mars, Shao Kahn, other local artists like that.
Going on, like,
Oh, the Indian?
cultural appropriation, whatnot.
It's just
I
the
don't
Cleveland
know.
Indians.
My name is Carmen Gosnell, and I model part-time under a model alias, Kalia Von Graves. I love to dance, and I'm into all things art-related that have to do with portraying an image and like manipulating that image to make people think.
Greenville has been my hometown for about 18 years now, and ever since I was little, I always liked to take photos on those disposable cameras. I've always loved art, and I always wanted to be an artist, and I am. So I kind of fulfilled my dream as a kid, went to school, and got a major in photography, and here we are.
Living the dream.
Well, my name's Nick, and I do a little bit of everything. I work a lot with metal, and I paint a little bit. I've worked with film before a few times. For this film particularly, I did all the props and costumes. So, you know, the horns, that took a few months. Most of my work was done before production, and that was about a eight month pre-production.
Old man Charlie.
So once we actually started shooting it, once everything was laid out, I was in a few scenes. Other than that, I just tried to keep everybody on time, working with everybody's schedules, making sure that we had our shoot dates in order and our locations were okay to shoot on those days that worked with everybody else's schedule. Carmen's in makeup, what can I be doing? Charlie, are you in makeup? Okay. Alright, let's pack up the car. The car is loaded, so as soon as they're done, we can go. At the farm, if I wasn't involved in a scene, then I would be backstage making sure that the next scene is set up. I work on a lot of projects at once usually, so I had the film going, I had a rather large angel sculpture, a few swords, and general building and maintenance with the shop all going at one time. One of the things that I had to keep telling myself was as long as everything just kept moving, something every day had to be done. that. I broke down the props and costumes in each scene, estimated how much I thought it would cost to make each one of those scenes happen based on the props and the set and the costumes in it. And then I wrote out a rough budget of what I thought we could get away with within that scene. I never want to limit a project by what we can afford. I always say we should write the story that needs to be written and then figure out a way to make that happen. So, you know, it's like, oh, this needs to look like gold. Well, there's spray paint. This project for me personally was very involved. I was taking on so many different roles. I was producing it, helping write it, and I was making all the costumes, all the props, in charge of basically casting everyone and getting the team together. Immediately started fleshing out the storyboards and figuring out like who we wanted to cast and what role. I'd worked with Carmen before on other projects, mainly Paresthesia back in 2010, and when I came on board to this project, I immediately knew that she was the one to do it. She was the one that was going to have the right attitude, the right look. So in my mind, there was never anybody else.
Yeah.
If this is going to be here, so it's going to be like... So I'm like, yeah, of course I'll see Def Leppard. But, it was awesome.
I mean, yeah, really created the whole thing, but see the things that the headband, I mean.
No, you're right.
I just need to be able to move, because I have very limited neck movement. It's going to be harder for me to do this.
But it's
I
so
can do
fucking
it, but-
awesome. What can you do?
But I can, like... But I can't move my neck.
Damn.
How would you describe that beginning process of how you came on board with the project?
That was good, you know, because he got me involved, and he's like, I just think that this would be a really good role for you to do. I just feel like that you'd be the best person to do it. I'm just like, and he told me more of the idea. It's like, you know, it's like mythical goddess witch creature or whatever. I'm just like, well, of course that's what I want to do.
About Nick Fricks, I was working with him.
I love working with Nick. He always had like such good like artistic like visions. He's like, I wanted to be like this, which is great, but also sometimes not great, because we're like, if I had a different idea or someone else had a different idea, he'd just be like we're crushing his artistic vision. I'm like, no, we're not, Nick. It still looks great. It's fine. He's like, but.
How would you describe working with Charlie?
I like that you had like very straightforward like vision. You're like, I want this to be like this. I know there was one time where you're like, well, I want it to be like this. I'm like, I can't do that because I'm going to hit things and my arms are too long for this. And we had done so long to get to that one scene for that simple star thing. I was just so tired at that point. I'm like, he's trying to speak to me. I know it. What does he want? The reason we're all involved is because we have different ways of viewing it. Yours because a director sent, Nick's more for like, you know, artistic like production and stuff like that, and mine's more like taking what you guys are doing and like and interpreting that back to what you're wanting to do with the direction. And I feel like that Sasha was almost like our like translator. Yay, Sasha.
Cool. This is one I did, and then we're showing the one, obviously.
I watched.
The one Nick did next, which is Paresthesia. This one I did back in 2013. Difference. Like, you know.
So essentially, you know, she has birth, and that child grows up eating the corpses of the previous child, and then that child grows up, and then she eats him, has another child. So all the rows of trees are people.
Yeah.
It's like
when you get the ceremonial dagger before you go into the void behind the curtain, we were gonna have you take that out of like a stream or something. We haven't nailed that stream down. We might do it on the eclipse day, we were thinking.
Oh yeah, the eclipse.
Yeah, that's another thing we've added since that is on the 21st. That I did want to mention, just getting shot of the eclipse, which, unless we shouldn't need you for it. Yeah.
There's Andrew Charlie, Sasha, and myself, you wouldn't actually have to be there. But we're doing sort of the River of Styx and the Boatman thing, and you just be here and there, just showing.
How long is this song?
You can play it right now.
I would like that, and also I would like to know about how long the song was, because obviously
it's like a
it's gonna
4-minute song. It's like a 3 or 4 minute song, I think.
Okay, that's good. Gives us more time to work with. Also, I didn't know you guys had already done a video for them.
What do you mean?
That's what James said.
No, that hasn't happened.
James,
Oh, we're not supposed to tell anyone about the video that you shot with Ian. That's like, I thought you guys said that was private.
It was. I mean, if James is spouting that off, this is someone's gonna have to get their knees broken.
wait, hold on. I didn't know what the private.
Just
like,
kidding,
what's going on?
just
I mean,
kidding.
my bad.
It was
I didn't
sort
know.
of like this, you know, fetish thing, and I just don't want to, you know,
Wait, what?
make that public now.
Basically, it's James peeing on Nick and Ian.
Right,
Right in the
yeah.
face.
It's very Antichrist Superstar. You know, we've got like the hoses and the masks
Real
hooked
life,
up
you
to
guys
his.
What motivated you to pursue your craft?
Well, I was approached by Charlie, the director, and asked to be basically the director of photography / cinematographer. And I think it'd be crazy not to take that opportunity, because that's what I do, that's what I want to do, and that's what I love to do. So
My undying love / hatred for Nick Briggs. That's what. It's always got interesting, cool things, a lot of symbolism that's involved, and I really like that. And just the overall concept was appealing to me.
I'd seen Worm play a few times. I've enjoyed them. I like their music. I think they're really good at what they do. Kind of a bit of a metalhead, so it's something that I thought would work with the type of imagery. I like doing a lot of darker, edgier stuff, and it seemed like their themes and the artistic directions they take would work with the things I'm interested in. A lot of the album artwork that I'd seen from them and their aesthetic seemed appropriate for the things that I would like to do, so it seemed like an appropriate match.
I remember the very first time that I saw some of the production stills in the beginning of Carmen, and I almost immediately fell in love with the way that it looked. And then of course when I was approached by yourself and Nick about possibly being in the role, I didn't have to think twice about it. I immediately wanted to do this.
Yeah. So on the 25th, everybody. I mean, you can show up if you want, but you're not in the shots.
Yeah, that's going to be my birthday.
6th and the 27th on the Tree Farm aren't shooting days though. They're setup days and walkthroughs. So what we'll do, the sets and stuff, and Charlie will walk you and Sasha basically, and you if you want to come, which would be good if you could. And he'll do a walkthrough with you on set.
The High Priestess is motherly, but also like the wisdom things, but she's also kind of a composite of the High Priestess and a lot of goddesses and stuff like Isis. So we have the birth scene, then we'll see the Baphomet figure, the goat-headed guy in silhouette. We got these stilts and stuff that we built, holds it up, kind of Rafiki. And then a Madonna and Child shot, which showed, and we want to kind of emphasize the parallels and mythology and stuff between Madonna and Child and Isis and Horus, kind of like that. These would be me and Nick, and then she'll be up there holding the baby. We have a shot on a picture for her where she has a beetle that she's taking the baby. We'll pass the tree when she's holding the baby. And when they pass the tree, she now has a child, showing the passage of time.
Oh, yeah.
Can create and destroy life.
Yes.
Mother Nature sort of thing. And behind the curtain, the throne is supposed to be where she, has the secrets of the universe hidden. So when she goes in there, she does this lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram from the Golden Dawn, and followed by the Kabbalistic cross, and then a tarot reading. We're going to have her floating in different positions, like the lotus position would be like a Trent Reznor closer thing. We got this big chair, the tree grew out of your chest, and then hopefully do a stop motion thing later on.
Right.
That gap.
What we'll do is we'll take a mold of someone's chest.
Yeah.
Could be your chest, anybody's chest, and then we'll fill that with alginate that sort of looks like skin. For the most part, it does a pretty good job of mirroring it without going into like expensive ass silicone.
That tree peanut.
Yeah.
And yeah, tree peanut.
I've always been interested in the arts and creative activities, and film seemed like a suited medium for me because it's visually oriented, which I think is how I function and where I strive the most.
Well, to be honest, I've always done art. It's just something I've always done. As far back as I can remember, I've always been interested in making things and using just.
what's the point?
basically just when I was a kid, ever since I was a little kid, I would dissect the way things were made, and that sort of led into all these other interests. Like with metal, you know, somebody taught me how to weld, and now I want to know how to do everything with metal, whether that be welding or casting or just like all with a torch, you know. Like there's so many, like when I finally got my blowtorch, a whole other thing opened up. You can heat it up and bend it and twist it and weld it and melt it and just everything with it. So like that's the approach I take with anything. I want to learn everything there is to know about it and learn how to manipulate it and just express myself with all of the abilities, basically. That's what I do with.
You should probably do it around 3 or 4 times just to get the full effect.
Yeah, and maybe like a little fan, so it's like
stiff from all the makeup process because I had to let it dry repeatedly as we put more on there, so I couldn't really sit down or lay down, and it took forever because that's before we troubleshooted it with the airbrush. And at a certain point in time, especially when I was finally in here getting filmed after that long grueling makeup process, and I had to sit still with all these lights on me with the horns on me, at one point I was like, this is what torture is like.
Away from the refillable aerosol can to this. Oh, it's so cold! Why did I at least go on easy? Yeah. God, I hope this isn't a dramatically bad choice.
You look a maniac right now. This is an amazing image. I need to take a picture. Go now.
Lock her in the back room like that. Thank you.
Come on. The thinner it is, the better. Come on. It's starting to dry out up here. And
Come on, the baby. Now.
But thicker stuff looks gooey. I don't know how quick it's going to dry. So the thinner, the better.
What?
Go from the...
Why did you say yes last?
You gotta.
No.
It's too big.
No, it's not.
Usually,
Don't rip it, don't rip it.
Gentle.
You gotta be gentle. This is gonna slip under your chin.
usually when I wear pantyhose during roleplay, I'm the one saying I don't want to hurt you.
Also, like, we can apply makeup or paint over this.
True. I feel like at this point we're just like two weird characters you see in the Mighty Boosh. You got a wiener in your head, and I don't.
Because I cut the wiener off of that one.
Oh my god. So I get to be the girl.
No.
What's going on over there? There's a bunch of men in thongs. There's a woman in thongs. They're all painted up all white. There's a pig running around the yard. Like.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Yeah. That sharp. You know, just come down enough to like, I mean, I don't have to brush the side. It might be cool like with just the brush. It just like, it seemed like the point of discovery.
He doesn't have to be up, but he just from the side, like the big wall, because I think if he stands there, he won't be in it. Yeah, go one more step over. Now you're out of it. Really nice right now, but we don't have much of it left.
Out and
Yeah, you could just. Should I like just reach out and then open my hand?
Yeah. Okay. Walking by. Don't mind me, I'm just a hermit. I sell crabs.
how is he supposed to look?
And it was almost like I'm flipped into a case of something, like another body or something. It was so weird. But and then putting the horns on, which immediately made it like I couldn't really move my neck very much, and obviously I couldn't. Nothing could be within like 3 feet or more of me because I just run the horns into it. I think I hit at least all of you at some point in time with the horns, like in the face at some point. Like, hey, look at this! I'm like, like whap. I literally woke up like this. Oh yeah, no, I forgot about the part where we glued fabric to my body.
The days we've arrived, I think we're
on day 3 of shooting, but it's only a couple of hours.
Well, congratulations, guys. We made it through the studio shots.
We arrived one day, shot the next day, shot the next day,
and now
and today. So this is kind of like the 4th day of the week that we've been here.
Yeah, it seems like it's been like a month.
Yeah, we've been at summer camp, guys.
It felt like that one.
No, you understand. I've changed. Things have changed. I'm a whole other person here. It's a whole different life. I can't go back to my old life now. Like things are different.
I have that. I like that you use the summer camp metaphor because I have that feeling where I think I just want to be in like my bed and watch like Wayne's World or something very familiar that I've seen a lot.
Cool. How was your sandwich, Charlie?
It was delicious.
How was your lunch break, Charlie?
It was very delicious.
We need a black curtain behind the red curtain that we've installed at the farm, so that when
it's black behind her, people might not even might just assume that you can't see very well out there.
But if you show light, it shows that she's coming from a brighter place.
Yeah, true. Yeah, that kind of works.
Yeah, so we work as we take stuff away.
Definitely.
You have the cord.
It was on the ground.
Oh, where?
Over there.
You know when you're so tired, like I said, your vision starts to get kind of cloudy and you can blink your eyes a lot? I had to keep thinking that's what's going on, and not that I have whiteout contacts in. I think there's a girl who can grab a beer bottle with her butt. What is it?
I hate to be like
What
that.
is it? Just what is it? Come
But
on.
I'm pretty
Your
sure this
formality.
line should be bent here. The bow should be there,
I
right?
can't see fucking boobs.
The bow should be more over here.
I can't see.
Are you that tired? How's it working for you?
I'm trying to see if I can tell the difference between the dry. Actually, I think it might be better to use the dry sponge.
Just going through basically the little tiny things that we would do, so that it's not just nothing just on a whim. You know? The story is kind of an abstract way of describing the circle of life, showing birth, death, and rebirth. The whole thing, in a way, is just a representation of life itself and nature. Good. I think we could have stayed a little more with the pacing of her moving.
The dark arts or the occult, a lot of ancient history is brought into this from different countries.
So yeah, let's do that one more time.
It's really hot, and this thing hurts. Really bad. I feel like it wasn't enough.
Yeah, I think you could have got a little bigger with the eyes. Also, do you think you could preserve the antlers when we get to her face, so that we could see it like it's up? Yes, you wouldn't necessarily need to, since I think the reason you do initially is because you're going to the first point you reach. Rembrandt here.
Wait, what is it?
It's
definitely a Rembrandt.
It's not a restaurant. I did that 2 seconds ago, so I could talk to you more clearly.
Wait, like just stick fingers, like one's got like big horns.
The center of the star and draw a line rotating to the left.
She can go a little bit, but she's not.
I feel like,
yeah,
do you
the
not
antlers.
see what's attached to me?
This is true.
Like,
She can move, like.
I would say, then don't do that. We'll just have to adjust for each shot in between.
Honestly, I'd leave like slower. Honestly.
Makes sense. Alright, so cool. So go ahead and begin whenever you're ready. Let's see your best mime leaving and action.
Like your chest.
Ooh, keybook.
oh shit!
Oh. When are we gonna shoot this thing? Give me a second. Leg of doom. Okay.
Alright, go. Okay.
No. The baby with the sickle.
I think I'll have to set the sickle down.
Yeah. He needs an easy way to get to that sickle.
Yeah, I'll have to set it down, right? So it'll be like this. You know, hard to see.
How fast am I spinning, turning my head?
As fast as you can.
Yeah, and I would move as slow as you can, like a
Yeah.
sloth.
Hover, should I be like, baby?
You can a little bit.
I mean, I feel like the kind of hover would be good, but I'm gonna try and like vibe off what you're doing and kind of like.
How long?
1, 2, more back and forth. 3, like left and right, I mean.
Hold on, the baby fell. The baby fell.
That's so hard to do.
No, I feel like it needs to be like your face is like if there's a plane on it. If there's a plane here like this or whatever, it just goes back and forth. Like you would only do side to side.
No, that was great though. We could at least use some of that because then, you know, like even the laugh would be kind of funny. Like we cut to, we could even like have the laughing sounds because it's kind of creepy. Like
oh my
he's
god.
laughing about you're good as you are now.
Hold on, you gotta hold the horn.
Nick, you should be covered.
I know, but
Okay, this stuff right there.
Can you not see through that?
barely.
Yeah, what you're doing now is great. Just dance for us, Spacey.
If there was a lesson to be learned, which this isn't the only thing that would teach me that lesson, but it's definitely patience. We've had so many technical issues and the weather and just having to deal with everyone's schedule. It's really been difficult. And being at the small part that I had in the role maybe didn't feel as much burden as the rest of you guys did. But again, patience was probably the most well learned.
I think for me, a lot of it has been working with a team. I don't think I've ever really worked with this diverse of a team before on a large-scale project. So everybody has their certain talents and bringing their own thing into this project and making it a whole.
To just not be intimidated, try things, to just don't, rather than fear failure, just go for it. And it all seemed to work out. And if it didn't work out, at least we tried.
I just had a really good time learning about you guys more, like a more intimate level. And I would just say that this is a great team, and I'd love the opportunity to be able to do this again.
Everyone brings things to the table, and a lot of fun to work with. Not to say that we weren't snapping at each other at certain point in time, but that's what happens when you work with literally anyone.
It's really great. It's really kind of chaotic, but it's really fun too. Everybody puts their own things into it, puts their own talents and everything, and I think together we really work well, and we work almost, it's kind of a little family.
We are a clusterfuck of talent.
I think the chemistry worked really well because we had, as far as the people who were pretty much always there on set, it was Nick, Carmen, me, and Sasha. So we had 2 females, 2 males, and I feel that, like with me and Nick, he's very goes forward and is more of the active, while I was more of the passive. And with Sasha and Carmen, Carmen's kind of has Nick's tenaciousness, I guess you could say, as far as driving forward, and Sasha's more of the grounded, passive one. So we had an active, passive male element, active, passive female element, and it all seemed to really balance everything out, like the 4 elements in a way you could say. The shoot was stressful, but to blow off steam and our off time, all of us would go to karaoke at Pub Spirits.
I was seriously in mid-piss when you said that. Woo! Mid-piss. Oh, whip the pencil! That could be like down a hit. Believe. Still the good, but nothing I don't know. The magic spells to you. Side or scales. And I'm bleeding right before the Lord. Now the words are gonna bleed from me, and I will sing no more. And the stain coming from my blood, tell me go back home. Happy birthday to you! It's a miracle! It's a miracle!
It's the music of the night.
I'm dirty, I want to be pretty.
You know, Sasha, if you wanted to, you could put it on and get in the pit. Try to love someone.
Yeah.
I was planning on doing that.
Carmen has this devil pig.
Carmen had this pig that she just owns, and it didn't really have a reason to be there, other than the fact that we owned it. We did a lot of the setup and stuff at her house where we would sleep sometimes, and the pig, I swear, was literally trying to eat me. It didn't necessarily try to eat anyone else, but it would make scary noises, chase me, and bite me, and apparently, according to Nick, it's got these crazy teeth that aren't the way teeth should be, like a shark's teeth. It was scary. I was on edge the entire time we were there.
And then he came back.
Barely Kramer's.
That's my best friend. That's my best friend.
To respray people. Feeding cats.
We need apples.
Apples are in there. Everything's loaded up.
Yeah, what's the word on the child? When shall we acquire him?
So my scene was basically me being sacrificed. That's probably the most vivid memory I have when we did the throat slitting, and just the way that Nick put it together. And we had, I mean, it was ridiculous. Again, we were trying to rush so hard and trying to put so much into it. Everyone was tired, but that scene when the blood gushed out like that's gonna stay with it. That's burnt in my memory forever. After getting the makeup on and coming to understand what you guys were expecting for this particular role, it really didn't seem like I had to draw upon any one particular style of acting or anything like that. It just felt natural.
That's my berries. That's my berries. Grapes.
Seems like a fan.
I need my wine.
Yes.
Where's my rosé?
The first thing that comes to my mind is the longest shooting day that we did when like none of us had gotten any sleep, and like we were all snippy, but also in a moment we would like be laughing at like everything.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it does. It just, I don't know why.
Good thinking, Charlie.
It would have been really funny if he tossed it and then peed it again and then close to the.
Oh man, further away next time.
A little bit. And like.
Yeah.
We will, in a weird way, where you're like, you would laugh at something because. It's serious, like this. December, that's like a thing all month. I feel people are like, this person's trying to ruin Christmas, and these people are trying to steal Christmas. And I did it.
I did it. I gave your grandmother a dead.
But it was more. It's like prank, but it's more Skellington, I think, because I had good intentions.
Yeah.
And relatively slowly into the frame.
Okay, yeah. Everybody did a great job of not dying.
Yeah, I fell into one hole.
Yes.
No, I fell into 2 holes, and both times I like caught myself. But yeah, not dying was good. Lots of not dying. And I was pretty drunk by the time I fell into the second hole. We were all sleep deprived, but at the same time, as much as it was very frustrating, it was also funny and fun at the same time. And the second thing comes to my mind is the whole huge discussion that we had about the bathroom thing that Nick built outside. We had a huge discussion about pee etiquette. And it was funny.
I'm sorry. You know what? You're right. And I should have put a toilet in there, you know, and ran some plumbing out.
Run some plumbing all the way.
I mean, fuck. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. I mean, peeing in the woods would be better, right? I mean,
that's what I did, honestly.
That's what I would do.
Really?
Yeah, because the first day we came, we went all the way over there and picked a hole and repeated it.
yeah, but there's a bunch of people here, and you don't want to walk like half a fucking mile or like however far back you think it is that we can't see. You can just go right there, and no one can see you.
In a bucket that we have
roaming around the dark. I gotta pee.
Yeah.
Did everybody actually use it?
I haven't actually yet.
I haven't.
Did you use the bucket?
Mm-hmm.
Did you toss it?
Nope.
What? Are you serious?
I didn't know the protocol.
What?
Okay, we don't have time for this shit. Okay, can you see the whole pentagram?
Unless I go down one.
Or go back.
Well, then you wouldn't be able to see her as well, huh? Do you want to start up higher and then move down, or?
I could do that. A pan.
Okay, yeah, let's do a pan. Do you like the pan?
Yeah, let's do that.
All right, is everybody ready? All right, be careful with that tree. Yes?
All right, first positions, everyone. Camera's rolling. Action. Spurt.
Keep going. Oh, nice.
All they really gave me from the beginning was that it centered around a female goddess, but they had a darker take on it, and I just kind of built up on it from there. Started reading into a lot of things to touch upon things that, refresh my memory on things I was interested in. Secret Teachings by Manly P. Hall was a big book that I dove into a lot for a lot of these things, pulling from things, goddess symbolism around the world, so that it was cross-cultural, had universal symbols that, rather than pulling from just one mythology. So she's kind of a combination of things like the Egyptian Isis, Hathor,
and then just, your weird hand things,
Kali,
but go down
Hindus,
too.
Gaia. There's even a Mary Madonna and child symbolism there, and showing that not just to pull from things for diversity, but to show that there's unified symbolism across all these cultures that seem to be just a part of the collective human consciousness in the way Carl Jung might describe it.
Not already as close as they are.
That's how it is. I mean, it really.
We got
okay.
We got this. Just say when you want to start.
Action. Take that at 5,000.
What?
I said that's good.
Okay.
So I'm ready whenever you're ready.
Okay, I'm gonna try some stuff.
Okay.
I don't know exactly what I'm doing.
I'll just keep recording.
Okay, ready?
Mm-hmm. It's recording. So if it ever goes off, just
Help me find them then.
Actually, what are you
If you have a question, just let me know.
I was gonna let Carmen know what we were doing.
Okay, go ahead. I'll get the spotlight.
She wants to get a still for I got knife on my thigh. Is she in the right place for the still you want to grab?
Yeah.
Am I in the way?
Yep. If you want to go up.
The horn still there? Whatever. You guys blue?
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree. We should have a letter of trees behind us.
What happened? Is it dead?
How does the photograph okay? I think it's good.
and then all you have to do would be turn on the light and
that
go
was
over
you?
here.
And I was like, there's something
Go
with
over
this.
to where you were before for the light.
Okay, and then just shine down in the hole.
Yeah, it'd be funny if there was cows out here and you just hear.
Oh, I love cows. Cows are my friends.
Light on.
All right. So your lights. Roll camera. Let me know when you're rolling.
Rolling? Rolling?
Yes.
Go?
All right, action. All right, so first positions, everyone. Roll camera.
I mean, if it's what we got, it's what we got. And I can try to get up there and create it.
Like,
Yeah.
when your
Is it rolling? You should just keep it rolling.
no, keep your elbows and stuff like close on those two, and then kind of like no, not your whole body, just your feet and your arms. Your arms are.
Should we put the baby down naked or with clothes?
I would say with clothes, so
I'm
it's
with
less
clothes
obvious.
because it's fake as fuck. So.
I know. Okay.
Bloody it up.
Yeah, we could bloody up the baby.
I think that'd be weird for this moment.
Okay.
It's a little aggressive.
I just want you to be able to tell that it's.
Huh? What did you
The
say,
Ghost
Charlie?
Babies.
Hold on.
Ghost Baby
Hold
Smoke
on.
Pot.
What?
The Ghost Baby Smoke Pot.
I thought he said ghost babies are hot.
That's what I thought he said.
I would like you to cradle the baby's head because you weren't holding its head, and that would probably kill a baby with what you just did.
It's a supernatural baby.
Yeah. I know, but I want it to be believable that you have a baby. Because it's already a fake ass baby. I'd like to make it like just a, I don't know, might be a real baby kind of thing. Plus, I have another question. If we do the pan shot around where it turns into Andrew and she's sitting there, then she won't be sitting there. Is that going to be weird? Shouldn't we have her walk away before we do the circle shot?
No, that's a great call. I would say we should set it down and you walk.
If it's just me.
Since she walks off camera.
But I would
even
stand in the triangle
pan as soon as she
and hold the
starts
baby
to
like
walk
this
away.
with your head hand on the back of his neck and set it down
So
either
rather
in the
than
middle
call for
like
a cue,
this
I would go ahead
or
and
turn it this way,
feel it out.
which is kind of awkward. Does that look okay or is that weird?
That looks fun.
I'm just
Yeah.
trying to hide the
I
baby's
would say-
face as much because it's so.
Look at the beetle, look at the baby, show the bug to the baby.
I think my biggest concern was scheduling, and I know everyone has their own job. They work the 9 to 5, so to say, and I know my part was small with timing and all, but I think my concern was probably that I wasn't going to be able to accommodate everyone else's schedules. But after coming in for the days that I did shoot, that pretty much melted away instantly. There was such a positive energy with everyone. I know it could have been anyone in the role, but I'm glad that it was me.
Time, of course, because it was time consuming, but also how I was gonna do literally anything in those horns because they're so large and like as long as my arm span basically. It's just how am I gonna move and do what I need to do with these horns on?
I was coming into this being a director of photography or being the cinematographer, so I was the only person in that specific field, so I had to be on key with everything that I did. I had to influence people or my other teammates in their work on the other aspects of this project, and then I had to take their viewpoints and put it into what I did as well. So it was just a big responsibility, basically.
I guess for a while my biggest concern was that the horns wouldn't stay on her head. And we fought with that quite a bit, trying to get them just right, and then once we got them to stay, we were, having a hard time getting them to be comfortable. And honestly, the horns evolved over the entire production, and they're still probably the most uncomfortable thing you could put on. And you really have to give it to Carmen for that. She's quite a trooper.
Oh, I literally meant for it to just straight up be on the ground.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
What do you mean? It is on the ground.
I mean like
that's
facing straight
fine.
up.
But we could, that's what I meant too, what you say, Nick, but at the same time, we might be able to get away with it that way too.
Let's try it both ways.
Because then she can actually look at it.
But this makes more sense for the flower thing.
It does.
Take a bite out of that one. Yeah, look at it. Look at it.
More blood?
Okay, go in for the other angle.
Alright.
Bite the other angle. Don't talk, but you gotta go in for the other. You can go start to bite, but don't actually finish.
You gonna do it with this? You want the stick?
Can't have the stick. This thing is freaking me.
Dark.
Action.
Does that look good?
Yeah, that looks cool. Nice. Let's give us some animalistic shit. Sweet. Like a giant goat in a second.
When it comes to influences of a piece, do you think that artists have a moral or ethical responsibility to their culture?
I suppose art is just another form of communication. Just like saying something to somebody. If you have something negative to say, as long as it's sincere, it doesn't mean you shouldn't vocalize it. So I think as long as it's coming from the heart, artists should be able to express whatever they want. As far as trying to better people or the world, if that's something you feel inspired to do, like just like when you're talking to somebody, you may feel inspired to try and put some positivity into this person's life. And if that's something you feel inspired to communicate with other people, then in your art you might be inspired the same way. But it is as long as it's sincere. You don't want, if someone were intentionally putting things out there to try and dumb people down or mislead them with I think that would be immoral. But if they're putting something out there that's maybe darker, more bitter, but it's still a real thing, then I think that's still good, because those are elements of the human condition that people should still have art to help them think about and process. But this one, I guess one of my agendas, hopefully, was that it would, similar things have inspired me to look further into certain things, like say the work of Manson. He's grazed upon certain topics, and then I've looked into those things further, and it's opened up a lot of doors for me as far as occult themes and philosophies. And I hope that even though some of the way these things are expressed is not explored heavily, that people who are interested in it, it'll point them in certain directions and open doors and get them reading about other things that could hopefully expand their mind.
Art, I think, is maybe, I wouldn't say that it's more objective than it is subjective. If you're doing art, it's because it's your passion. It doesn't necessarily mean that everyone has to agree with it, or that you have to create some movement because of it, where it comes to morals and things like that. If it's something you love to do, that's why you should do it, for your passion. If someone agrees with it or not, that really isn't your concern as an artist.
On one hand, yes, as artists, we do have a responsibility to our culture. Much of history is based in art. Through art history, we learn so much. We couldn't have known much of anything if it wasn't for art. On the other hand, it really depends on each project. If you are doing something that's culturally sensitive, then obviously you have a responsibility to be sensitive to each topic and subject. But if you're doing something that's more like fine art, I guess I would say, something from your soul that doesn't really reflect on what's happening around you, then I don't think you have to be as responsible for thinking that future generations will really look back on that and reflect what the society was at the time.
An auto? No, it isn't.
It's not?
No. The ladder, but we could try to hide it. I think since we have time, we should try to fuck with that. What do you think?
The only way I think we'd be able to do that, because we need the tripod for how firm it's going to be.
That's true.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
So you guys have any insight that I need to know about all this?
Don't look at it.
No, I'm not looking at it. like where's the moon right now? Do you see the moon?
I think it's supposed to start. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
It's supposed to begin around 2. It's everything from Renaissance, Hermetic alchemy,
fucking
the
crazy that looks.
Christian branch, a mystical
Alright,
Christian
what are some,
branch called
poses to do?
Gnosticism, the Kabbalah, the Hebrews,
You could do
Kundalini yoga, various
I like the
pagan
couch you're doing
pantheons,
there.
particularly the
You could also
Egyptians
do
and Norse
Diaz above Sebula, of
pantheons.
course.
Another big influence filmmaking-wise was Kenneth Anger, who also deals with a lot of esoteric and occult themes. He was a follower of Aleister Crowley's philosophy of Thelema, the aim of religion with methodology of science. When I say it's influenced by a lot of occult things, that word can often be misconstrued as being synonymous with Satanism or maybe just witchcraft, which should fall into a realm of that, but it just means hidden knowledge and ideas which may have been suppressed by the church or whoever, if not suppressed, just held underground because they kept them sacred. So a lot can really fall into that, even though now it's just adopted by angry or sad teenagers to try and scare their parents who want to emphasize the more satanic aspects of that maybe. Carl Gustav Jung, a colleague of Freud, explored a lot of mystical ideas and applied that to science and psychology, and had an idea that humans, with their all sharing a similar operating system, explains why all over the world we see some of the same types of themes come up in mythologies, and there tends to be comparisons between different pantheons of gods from different cultures. And my hope was that even people less familiar with certain things would at least intuitively understand the video on some level because of the universal themes that would appeal to that collective unconscious that, you know, each of us has.
Writing the score was a lot more involved than I thought it was going to be. But once I really dug my teeth into it, it started to become this much more elaborate thing that I very much enjoyed working on. We wanted something that sounded like a cross between Silent Hill and American Horror Story. So I wanted to write everything out on piano first before assembling it on Fruity Loops. And I think what we came out with was something along those lines, but unique.
You want it in the same position as A sharp? Or
I don't know. I might take A out. Yeah, take this out too.
I was thinking potentially having the name fade with the ball of light, but then I thought maybe have the ball of light fade and then light comes from the center.
Put all my logo stuff on here so I can work around in that computer.
Yeah, sounds good.
Oh, that's cool as fuck. Let's try that. Let's fuck with it. Let's do some stuff. Let's make some things happen.
How fucking creepy is that shit?
It reminds me of Mist. Everything reminds me of Mist. So.
Everything you like.
Oh, light flare.
Check you later. Again, I really enjoyed the opportunity to do this. I hope that in the future we're able to go back, maybe revisit this as a stepping stone, because of course this being my first time, and build off of it, and hopefully broaden my my resume as far as that goes. Not necessarily in a selfish manner, just that I enjoyed working with you guys so much. It would be a pleasure to do it again. And with that said, I thank you for giving me the opportunity. I really enjoyed it.
In a lot of ways, it's a bit of a relief. It was a lot of fun, but it's also like, okay, we can sit down and breathe now. It's like you just ran a marathon. A lot of moving pieces that we had to be thinking about throughout the process, so it's kind of a breather to be at the end now, and I can just sit down and we start to edit and do some of the more comfortable aspects of it. So overall, it's a very satisfying feeling.
You know, you knew it was going to be like a stressful time, but also a really fun time. Now that's kind of coming to an end, it's kind of sad. You know, you get really close and have bonds with the people that you work with.
Yep. I'm gonna go over here now.
It's a dream, never touched ground, but it ain't the truth. Isn't that the best? Isn't that the test? Isn't that
that the truth? Yeah, no. Isn't that the best? Isn't that the test? Isn't that the truth? Yeah, no. What is?
I like this, but should I?
Going down, we all come down. It's not forever, but what is? Coming down off a merry-go-round. Tell yourself it's the best time you've been round. Maybe the next life, magic still exists. It's in your hands now. But it ain't the truth. Isn't that the best? Isn't that the test? Isn't that the truth? Yeah, no. Isn't that the best? Isn't that the test? Isn't that the truth? Yeah, no. Isn't that the best? Isn't that the test? Isn't that the truth? What is?
What is going on over there? Oh, that was happening. I forgot about that because I was in the garage. I'm like, whatever, it doesn't matter if it was just like me and Sasha. And this, I guess her neighbor, was walking onto his porch. And I was just had my arms out because I was getting painted. And I had the white contacts in, but I know he knew that I saw him because I just stared him down. And he was just like turned his head down or whatever, because he was looking pretty hard, and as soon as I realized it and I stared him down or whatever, he just like looked down on the ground the entire way into his house. I was in a garage, alright? I didn't think anybody was gonna see me, but at the same time I was just like, well, this has already happened, so I'm gonna stare at you like you did something wrong. So you hope you feel bad.